All right, y'all. So I'm gonna give y'all a tangible tip to create a belonging culture for you and your teams so that every person belongs and thrives. And I only got about 5 minutes here, so I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I just want to give y'all a quick tip. And today's tip is talking about how you can establish expectations and behaviors that align with what the belonging culture that it is that you want to create. Now, it's truly important that you have to model the way in which that you want the culture you to seek and to be about within your organization institution, because people are looking at you and seeing you as an example for what belonging looks like. And if you're not walking the walk, then what's the point, right? Nobody's going to follow you if you're not walking the walk and talking the talk. So we got to make sure that those things are closely aligned in your ability to create this belonging culture for your employees to belong and thrive. And it starts with you. So here are some tangible ways that you can emulate a belonging culture through your actions and set up the expectations and in your ability to create that belonging culture for your institution. And the first one being that you have to define what that culture looks like for you. You have to define what belonging looks like for you. You can't just let that be an off the shelf type of a thing that you pull from any vendor or any strategic plan that you see out there. You have to be able to define what belonging looks like for yourself and also for your team. Ways you can do that is you can ask questions of what are the ways in which that somebody feels like they belong on the team. You could also do some exploration reflection on yourself to understand what do you feel when you feel like you belong. What are the things that are prevalent when you feel respected, when you feel valued, when you feel like you're heard? And then how do you turn that around and do that for somebody else? Be able to create that kind of bridge helps in drawing connections and contextualize this belonging perspective and concept within your leadership. And then you set that expectation, you set that bar for other people to say, hey, if I am listening intently to the staff members around me, then I want to be able to make sure that you are listening to the staff members that you are part of as well, and create that bond so that way they feel that they're heard and valued and their voices are incorporated in the decisions that are being made within the staff members and within the teams. So you got to be able to find what that looks like for you and for the teams, and be able to build relationships and engagement with the people around you to know that this is belonging looks like for your organization. All right. The second one that we got to do is we got to be the model for what belonging looks like, which I kind of alluded to that a little bit with the first point of defining it. But then once you define what that looks like, then you got to model it. You got to be able to showcase that within your actions. So in your one-on-ones, how are you asking specific questions that draw in somebody's input and expertise to help shape the strategic initiatives or project effort that you are trying to implement? Be able to then ask the question whenever there's a new team initiative of what does it look like for that team member to feel like that their identity is being represented within that space, and they can have a sense of understanding or a sense of collaboration that who they are is showing up within an effort that is being put on by the organization or is specifically with the team that they're part of, right? So we got to be able to be a model for that and showcase that within our leadership, so our team members can see that their leader is actively taking stands to be creating a belonging culture where every identity belongs and thrives. And oh my goodness, I got about a minute left. So let me get to the third point. Third point here is setting that standard for other people to embody that same level of belonging. So not only do you have to define what that looks like, then you got to model it for yourself. And then you create the expectations and standard for everybody else to say, okay, hey, this is the way that we are taking a look at our policies. This is the way we're taking a look at our activities and events and activities that are centered on our identities and our teams, and be asking the questions to see if they feel inclusive, if they feel like they belong, if they feel like that their voices are valued and respected, and create a co-create an effort that is incorporating multiple identities and not just dominating one just because of the social that identity that's associated within that space. So you have to be able to create that space where every identity has a voice and feel like they belong, and create the standard in which that every lens and every activity that we do is working to think about the social other and think about the other people who are part of the organization. And my 5 minutes is up, but I want to let y'all know, because this is my show, that I want y'all to be able to have an inclusive community where every identity belongs and thrives. And to create this belonging culture really takes the intentionality on you to think through what does it take for you to be that inclusive leader, that belonging leader for your culture. And if you need help with that, holler at me at Ray Devontae and follow the link in the show notes, so that way you can we can have a conversation to see what does it take to create an equitable, inclusive environment where every identity belongs to thrive for your organization. All right. Tune in next week for your next tangible belonging culture tip, and I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.